ISIS has claimed responsibility for the Sunday night attack outside of a Prophet Muhammad cartoon drawing contest in Garland, Texas. ISIS has warned of more attacks on American soil to come. The two gunmen wounded a security guard before police shot and killed them both. Now, joining me this time is the organizer of that provocative and controversial event, which paid over $10,000 to the winner of the Prophet Muhammad cartoon drawing contest, Pamela Geller. She joins us via telephone from New York. Pamela, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rick.
Pamela, everyone already knows that radical Islam, of course, is intolerant and violent, which is one of the things you were trying to demonstrate by organizing this event. What do you feel you accomplished here?
I was not trying to demonstrate it. I was trying to have a conference on free speech, and I don't know that everyone knows the enemy and the jihadic doctrine. I think that's the big problem. I mean, look at the response in Europe when the attack on the editorial staff of the Charlie Hebdo French Weekly took place. Everyone was saying, Je suis Charlie. All of the press ran the cartoons. In the wake of this attack, it's the same kind of attack. It's an attack on free speech. It's not Je suis Charlie. It's Je suis Jihad. The fact is, I'm offended by the disgusting, libelous, vile things that are said about me, particularly in the press every day. But nothing they could ever say would motivate me to kill anyone. We are rewarding savagery. We are rewarding violence, and it will beget only more violence. We are constructing a thugocracy. And let me make one thing perfectly clear. These two jihadists that attacked our free speech conference. And mind you, I've had to always have armed security, always, because I get these death threats, which is why I had armed security, a private army, along with the superb Garland Police Department protecting this event. But had it not been this event, these two jihadists would have struck somewhere else without the foreknowledge of someone like myself and Robert Spencer and builders, to know that you need armed security, and you would have had a situation like the Lind coffee shop in Australia. Lives were saved. The idea that we incited, excuse me, this conference was controversial. Free speech is controversial and incendiary. Let me tell you what's incendiary, Rick. Incendiary is the Jordanian pilot that was set aflame by the Islamic State. That's incendiary. We see in the Muslim world, they hold Holocaust denial conferences. You don't see Jews blowing anything up. It's just ridiculous that the media is blaming us and not the jihadists.
Afterwards, Pamela, afterwards you tweeted out, "This is war," or "This is a war," I should say. What did you mean by that?
I mean that there were two armed jihadists with AK-47s who staged a coordinated attack that at 7 o'clock, after the event was over and the people were leaving the cavernous ballroom, 300 people, feeding out into this small hallway, that they attempted to storm it and shoot everybody. That's not war? If that's not war, what is?
Pamela, what do you say to your critics who say, "Now, wait a minute, Pamela Geller could have made the same point had she focused on radical Islam, had she focused on other religions, including the Prophet Muhammad, but by choosing to be provocative in this instance, she has radicalized those moderate Muslims, offended those moderate Muslims who might not otherwise be radicalized." What do you say to those?
So I'm radicalizing these Muslims? You mean not the jihadic doctrine, not the call for holy war? This is outrageous. If you pursue this line of thinking, then the Christians that have been slaughtered in the Middle East and in Africa should convert because they're Christians and they're not converting to Islam. That's offensive to devout Muslims. So really, they should convert. Where are you going to draw the line? Okay, so we'll abridge our speech. We won't speak candidly about the jihadic threat. Then you think it ends there? This is the beginning of the war. And Pamela Geller is fighting that war. The idea that I'm radicalizing Muslims, what would it take for me to radicalize you, Rick? Tell me what it would take for me to get you to pick up an AK-47 and fire on innocent people. I want to understand this.
There's no question these two individuals were radical sympathizers. Let me ask you this. A cartoonist at Charlie Hebdo has drawn a distance between your event and the attack at Charlie Hebdo. He says there is no comparison because Pamela Geller went out and purposely tried to attack Islam, while we at Charlie Hebdo were criticizing all religions. Does that surprise you that of all critics, a cartoonist of Charlie Hebdo is saying such a thing?
No, they're saying that they draw them in response to news items. I say we're drawing them as political comment because political Islam is a movement that seeks to restrict freedom of speech based on Islamic law. Now, they can disagree, and it's a beautiful thing because that's what a free society does. Open opinion, open debate. I'm not going to kill them. They're not going to kill me. That's freedom.
Do you agree with Rush Limbaugh?
I have no problem with what their opinion is. That's fine.
Do you agree with Rush Limbaugh when he says President Obama is at least partially culpable in the death of these two radical Islamic sympathizers?
Yes, because President Obama said to the world on September 12th, a day after our ambassador and military attachés was slaughtered in Benghazi, that the future does not belong to those that slander the Prophet of Islam. So he's sanctioning the Islamic law that calls for the death of those that criticize Islam.
Final question, Pamela Geller. What next for you? You, of course, always have provocative projects, the killing Jews as worship signs on the side of New York buses. What next for Pamela Geller?
First of all, again, it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. This is provocative now in America 2015. It's outrageous that political criticism would now be, called hate speech, and those that would kill in order to support this draconian and brutal ideology are given a free pass. Well, those of us expressing our unalienable First Amendment rights are demonized, marginalized, and blamed for the savagery of others.
Are you able to update us on what might be next on your project list?
Well, right now, this is the project.
It is.
Obviously, as you can see, this is raging in the media, and we will continue to fight for the freedom of speech wherever we can. The ads were always that you referred to, where I quoted high-profile Muslims. That was not my rhetoric. When they say it, no one says anything. When I expose it or point it out or highlight it, I'm the bad guy. You can't make this stuff up. So we will continue to fight for freedom of speech, is what we will do.
Pamela Geller, thank you for joining us from New York City.